Do you believe? What lurks beyond the light? What secrets are waiting to be unearthed? What lies hidden in the darkness? Listen closely. Some stories are never truly told, only whispered. Click the subscribe button now. Beyond the shadows, beyond our sight, Felicia Studios Cryptids.
The only sounds were our own breathing and the crunch of snow under our boots. All around us stretched a frozen wasteland, a world of white silence broken only by the wind whistling through the bare branches of dead trees. There was no sign of life, not even a bird or squirrel daring to venture out into this cold. From the moment we had entered the woods, the oppressive presence of the wilderness had enveloped us like a shroud. It was as if the very trees themselves were watching us, their silent, stoic forms bearing witness to our every move. They come seeking adventure, a chance to push their limits and conquer the untamed beauty that surrounds them. They come seeking oblivion, release from the shackles of their past, or perhaps just an escape from the crushing weight of existence itself. We had deliberately sought out this desolate place, drawn by its reputation for being one of the most inhospitable regions on Earth. Here, winter is not merely a season, but a living, breathing entity, an all-consuming presence that dominates every aspect of life. It is a relentless force that can freeze a person solid in a matter of minutes, a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the wilderness. In the face of nature's raw power, they discover a strength within themselves they never knew existed. Dust motes danced in the weak rays of sunlight that managed to penetrate the grimy windows, illuminating the decay that had taken root within. The smell of damp wood and mildew hung heavy in the air, mingling with the musty odor of old, forgotten things. It was a despair that transcended the hardships of their earthly existence and hinted at something darker, more sinister lurking beneath the surface. Whatever torment they endured, it was not of this world, not the product of earthly trials and tribulations. This was a different kind of suffering, a torment that echoed the desolation of the frozen wastelands outside, a suffering that seemed to emanate from the very core of their being. The old man transformed before my eyes, his hunched form straightening, his vacant gaze sharpening into a predatory focus. Adrenaline coursing through my veins, I scrambled back, desperate to put as much distance between me and the horrifying creature that had been the old man as I could. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of terror as I watched him rise slowly, his eyes burning with a malevolent light that sent shivers down my spine. He was no longer the withered old man I had found by the fire, but something else, something twisted and evil, something that should not exist. In a flash, he was upon me, his gnarled hands gripping my throat, his eyes blazing with an unearthly light. For in the depths of this frozen wasteland, I had awakened something ancient, something that thrived in the icy grip of winter and craved nothing more than the eternal embrace of the frozen void. The creature moved with an unnatural grace and speed, considering his emaciated frame, and soon blocked my path, their bare branches clawing at my clothes, trying to snag me to hold me fast within their icy domain. The snow-laden boughs formed a dense canopy overhead, muffling the sounds of my pursuit and turning the world into a white, silent tunnel. Ahead of me, the darkness grew deeper, more oppressive, and I felt a growing sense of dread that something was waiting for me there. Hidden in the swirling snow and shadows, the world above me had become a muffled hum, cut off from the creature's heavy breathing that echoed around me. Each inhalation a rumble of anticipation, each exhalation a whisper of my impending demise. And in that instant, I knew that if it caught me, if its icy fingers closed around me, there would be no escape, no mercy. The creature loomed closer, its malevolent presence seeping into my frozen core, extinguishing the last embers of hope that had flickered within me. The creature lunged, its icy claws reaching for me, its red eyes blazing with the promise of unspeakable torment. But instead of meeting its horrific gaze, I closed my eyes, surrendering to the inevitable. The silence was shattered by the creature's guttural growl, a primal sound that reverberated through my bones, sending fresh shivers of terror coursing through my frozen limbs. I huddled deeper into the snow, desperately seeking solace in the suffocating cold. Gasping for breath, I looked back, expecting to see the creature emerging from the snow, its eyes gleaming with triumphant malice. The snow piled high above me, muffling any sound that might carry to the surface. I was trapped, imprisoned in a tomb of ice and snow. But the opening I had fallen through had vanished, leaving me trapped in a small, dark cavity beneath the snow. Slowly, the creature was descending into my prison, drawn by my scent, by my fear. Above me, the snow shifted as it moved closer, its bulk pressing down, sealing my fate. I had seen enough horror in this desolate cabin to know that, whatever this creature was, it meant only death, an eternity of suffering in the frozen wastelands. Trapped beneath the unforgiving weight of snow and stalked by the relentless hunter from my nightmares, I knew that I was facing my end. His eyes, now glowing red in the firelight, bored into me, pinning me in place with their intensity. Fear surged through me, paralyzing my actions, freezing my blood in my veins like the icy grip of winter. My vision blurred as I struggled to free myself from his merciless hold, but his grip tightened, cutting off my air supply, stealing my breath, stealing my life. It was as if the very walls were exhaling the secrets of years gone by. It was the silence of one who had retreated into the deepest recesses of their soul, seeking refuge from the horrors that haunted their waking hours. In that silence, I sensed a profound sadness, a deep and aching loneliness that seemed to stretch back over countless years. It was the silence of a heart frozen in time, trapped in an eternal winter of despair. Scrambling to my feet, I turned and fled, stumbling over the threshold and into the swirling snowstorm that raged outside. Behind me, I heard the creature's enraged roar echoing in the stillness of the frozen forest. A sound that promised terrible retribution, a vow to hunt me down, to claim me as its own. The endless expanse of white on all sides created a disorienting maze-like effect, making it difficult to discern direction or time. As I watched, mesmerized, they stirred, revealing a face etched with the passage of time and hardship. Their eyes, sunken and hollow, stared blankly ahead, devoid of any emotion or recognition. With a start, I realized I was not witnessing the remnants of an ordinary man, but something else, something that seemed to exist on the very edge of human perception. It was as though the wilderness itself was testing our resolve, pushing us to our limits to see if we would break. The forest floor, a treacherous carpet of snow, hid countless pitfalls, and the air grew colder as the sun began its slow descent. We had chosen this place not for its scenic vistas or wildlife, but for its reputation for being one of the most inhospitable regions on Earth. With a sudden burst of energy, I stepped forward, my voice echoing in the stillness. "Are you real?" My question hung in the air, unanswered. And I knew in that moment that I had awakened something ancient, something that should have remained buried in the frozen wastes of the past. Winter here is not a mere change of seasons, but a brutal force of nature that can turn a human body into a lifeless sculpture of ice in a matter of minutes. It is a frozen wasteland where the sun's feeble rays struggle to penetrate the thick blanket of snow, and the temperature often plummets to unimaginable lows. With each step, the shadows seemed to grow longer, deeper, more menacing. As we approached, a sense of foreboding washed over me, a feeling that we had stumbled upon something more than just a secluded dwelling. And then we saw it, a cabin in the distance, a faint glow of light spilling from its windows like a beacon in the gathering darkness. Hope surged through me, chasing away the gnawing fear that had been settling in my gut. Could this be our salvation? For some, it offers a sanctuary, a retreat from the noise and demands of modern life. Here, amidst the towering trees and whispering winds, they find a sense of calm and tranquility that eludes them in the bustling world outside. A place of warmth and refuge where we could finally shed the heavy mantle of the unforgiving wilderness. As we drew nearer, the sound of crackling fire and hushed voices carried on the wind, promising solace and safety. But as we reached the threshold, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut, plunging us into an abyss of darkness, and driving the icy fingers of fear deeper into my bones. The wilderness is a place of solitude, a realm where one can escape the clamor and chaos of civilization and find solace in the hushed whispers of nature. For others, the wilderness is a challenge, a test of endurance and resilience. But for a few, the wilderness holds a darker allure, a beckoning into the shadows where the rules of civilization no longer apply and the boundaries of sanity blur. We belong to this last group. Our path to this secluded cabin in the Canadian North had been a long and arduous one, both physically and emotionally. As we made our way through the knee-deep snow, the biting wind seemed to penetrate our warmest jackets, chilling us to the bone. Our journey had taken us deep into the heart of the Canadian North, a region known for its extreme weather conditions and untouched natural beauty. Yet despite the harsh conditions, we had pressed on, drawn by an unseen force to this remote cabin that seemed to materialize out of the swirling snow and ice. Inside the cabin, the silence was deafening, amplifying every creak and groan of the aging structure. Then I saw it, a figure hunched in the corner by the fireplace, wrapped in a tattered blanket. In their eyes, I glimpsed a depth of despair, so profound it mirrored the desolate landscape that lay beyond the cabin walls. Their silence was not merely the absence of sound, but a tangible presence, a weight that settled heavily on my chest, making it difficult to breathe. The silence stretched on, unbroken, until I could bear it no longer. Before I could comprehend what was happening, the silence erupted. Just when I thought my fate was sealed, a hand strong and sure shoved the old man away from me. He advanced toward me, each step deliberate and predatory. And I could feel the menace emanating from him like a physical force, pushing me back, forcing me toward the only escape. The door into the howling wilderness, the guttural snarl that sent fresh waves of fear crashing over me. The creature lunged, adrenaline surging through my frozen limbs. I threw myself aside, just managing to dodge the creature's grasping claws. As I ran blindly through the knee-deep snow, the wind whipping at my face, I knew that I was not just fleeing for my life, but for my very soul. Now as I ran, the forest around me seemed to come alive, the trees reaching out to me like skeletal fingers suddenly. The ground beneath me gave way, and I plunged into a hidden hole, tumbling through the snow and landing hard on the frozen ground. Struggling to my feet, I realized with a surge of panic that I had no way out, no way to escape the suffocating darkness that pressed in on me from all sides. And then, as if in answer to my silent scream, the sound of crunching snow reached my ears. In the frozen silence of my icy prison, I waited for the inevitable. Deep within the desolate wilderness, where the biting wind and snow-laden trees conspired to create a scene of utter desolation, I awaited my fate. As the moments stretched into an eternity of dread, I grappled with the realization that my story was nearing its end, that the wilderness had claimed another victim for its endless expanse. In the heart of this frozen labyrinth, I found myself suspended between life and death, trapped in a battle for survival that I knew I could not win. And then, in the frozen silence of my icy prison, it happened. When I awoke, if I ever did, I would be nothing more than a part of this frozen wasteland, another offering to the insatiable hunger of the wilderness.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Share your own stories or theories in the comments below. Share it with fellow enthusiasts who love cryptids and untold legends. This has been Felicia Studios Cryptids, coming with a new captivating story soon. And if you've watched to the end, I assume you have questions. What is this place? What is this music? Why does it sound like my name is being whispered? Are we really alone? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.